Beloved, if you are here in this very moment, it is not by accident. Something unseen, yet deeply gentle, has guided you to this space. Maybe you cannot explain why you paused, why you chose to read these words, but a quiet part of you knew you needed this. And that feeling is not random. It is intentional. For a long time, you have been carrying more than you ever speak about. You have learned how to move forward even when your shoulders felt heavy, your breath felt tight, and your mind refused to rest. You kept going even when every part of you was tired. Life trained you to expect pressure, to stay alert, to prepare for the next difficulty before the current one had even passed. And over time, that tension became normal. But something has been shifting lately, hasn't it? It may be subtle, almost too quiet to notice at first. The same fears do not grip you the way they once did. The weight you carried so tightly is beginning to loosen, even if just a little. There is a space opening within you, a space where calm is starting to exist again. You might not fully understand it yet, and that is okay. You do not need to have all the answers right now. What matters is this: you are no longer where you used to be. Something has changed. Something within you has moved, softened, or even healed in ways you cannot yet fully see. And perhaps, just perhaps, you are being led into a moment where you no longer have to fight the same way you once did. For so long, you have been living in what feels like a constant state of survival. Even when nothing is visibly wrong, your body does not fully relax. Your shoulders stay slightly tense, as if bracing for impact. Your breathing can feel shallow without you even noticing it, like your body forgot what it means to truly exhale. And your mind, always alert, always scanning, keeps searching the horizon for the next problem, the next disappointment, the next thing that could go wrong. It is exhausting, but it has also become familiar. You have learned to expect difficulty before peace has a chance to settle in. Even in quiet moments, there is a part of you that cannot trust the calm. Instead of enjoying it, you question it. You wonder how long it will last. You prepare yourself, just in case something disrupts it. Because life has taught you that ease can be temporary, and that safety can disappear without warning. So you stay ready. Your thoughts rehearse scenarios that have not even happened yet. You replay past experiences, trying to predict how things might unfold next time. You analyze conversations, read between every line, and sometimes assume the worst, not because you want to, but because you have been conditioned to protect yourself. It feels safer to expect disappointment than to be caught off guard by it. And then there are the nights, the moments when everything slows down, but your mind does not. When the world is quiet, yet your thoughts grow louder. You lie there, staring into the darkness, replaying everything: what you said, what you should have said, what could happen tomorrow. Sleep becomes something you chase rather than something that comes naturally. Even your rest feels like effort. This is what survival mode does. It teaches your body to stay alert even when there is no immediate danger. It convinces your mind that peace is something fragile, something that must be guarded at all costs. And over time, you begin to carry that weight everywhere, with your thoughts, your emotions, even in the way you move through the world. You might not always say it out loud, but deep down, you know how tired you really are. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Tired of always being on, tired of holding everything together, tired of feeling like you have to be strong every single day. And the hardest part is this: it became your normal. You adapted. You survived. You kept going. But somewhere along the way, you forgot what it feels like to truly feel safe, to live without constantly preparing for what might go wrong. And yet, despite everything you have carried, everything you have faced, you are still here. There were days when moving forward felt almost impossible, days when your energy was gone, your motivation was low, and even the smallest tasks felt heavy. You did not always feel strong. In fact, There were moments when you questioned whether you had anything left to give at all, but somehow, even in those moments, you kept going. Not because it was easy, not because you had all the answers, but because something within you refused to let go. There were nights when giving up felt like the only relief, when your mind whispered that it might be easier to stop trying, to stop fighting, to stop caring so much. And still, the next day came, and you were in it. Maybe not at your best, maybe not with confidence, but you showed up anyway. That matters more than you realize. You kept taking steps, even when they were small. You kept breathing through moments that felt suffocating. You kept holding on, even when your grip felt weak. And over time, those small acts of endurance became something powerful. Because the truth is, you were never as alone in it as you thought. There was something greater holding you together in the moments you felt like you were falling apart. When the weight felt like too much, somehow it did not crush you. When the pressure increased, something within you adapted, strengthened, endured. You were sustained in ways you could not always see or explain. That is not accidental. You were preserved. Through every difficult season, every emotional storm, every moment that tried to break you, you were kept. Not untouched, not unchanged, but not destroyed either. You may carry memories, scars, or lessons from what you have been through, but the fact remains, you did not lose yourself completely. You are still standing. And that means something significant. It means the story did not end where it could have. It means the moments that felt like they would define your limits did not have the final say. It means that even when you felt like you were at your breaking point, there was still something in you that chose to continue. You did not escape your struggles by accident. You outlasted them. And that endurance, the quiet, often unseen strength it took to keep going, is proof that there is more within you than you once believed. And now, something has shifted. Not in a loud, dramatic way that demands attention, but in a quiet, undeniable way that you can begin to feel within yourself. The tension that once lived in your body is no longer as constant. The fear that used to grip your thoughts does not hold the same power. It is as if something has been settled beyond what your eyes can see. Heaven has spoken. The long battle you have been fighting, the one that stretched across seasons, across emotions, across parts of your life you rarely put into words, has reached its end. What once pursued you no longer has the same authority. What once felt endless has, in truth, been completed. You may not have fully recognized the moment it happened. There was no clear line, no sudden announcement in your external world. But internally, something closed, something finished. And now, in its place, there is a quiet opening, an unfamiliar sense of space, of stillness, of peace that is beginning to take root. This is what the end of a battle often looks like. It is not always loud. It is not always obvious. Sometimes it is simply the absence of what once consumed you, the fear that no longer attaches, the thoughts that no longer spiral the same way, the weight that no longer feels as heavy as it once did. A chapter has closed. And because it has closed, you are no longer required to live as if it is still happening. You are no longer standing in the same place, even if parts of your mind have not fully caught up yet. The version of you that had to fight that hard, that long, has already carried you through. Now, something new is beginning. There is a calm that is slowly replacing the chaos, a steadiness that is forming beneath your steps. You may still feel echoes of the past, moments where old fears try to resurface, but they are no longer your reality. They are only remnants of what has already ended. The truth is simple. Even if it feels unfamiliar, the war is over. And whether you fully believe it yet or not, your life is already starting to reflect that victory. Now, you are being invited into something that may feel unfamiliar at first. Rest. Not the kind of rest where your body pauses, but your mind keeps racing. Not the kind where you lie still, yet inside you are still bracing for impact. This is a different kind of rest, one that reaches deeper than your physical state. It is the kind of rest that comes when something within you realizes, fully and finally, that the fight is no longer yours to carry. And it is important to understand this clearly. Rest is not weakness. For so long, you may have equated rest with falling behind, with losing control, or even with giving up. You learned to believe that if you stopped pushing, everything might collapse. That if you let your guard down, something would catch you off balance. But that belief was shaped in a season where survival was necessary. It does not belong to where you are now. Rest is not quitting. It is not abandoning your responsibilities. It is not becoming passive or indifferent. Rest is the shift from striving to trusting. It is choosing to live without the constant pressure that everything depends on you holding it all together. Think about someone who has just finished a marathon. After miles of endurance, effort, and determination, no one questions whether they have earned the right to stop and breathe. No one expects them to keep running as if the race never ended. Their rest is not seen as weakness. It is recognized as a natural and necessary part of completion. The distance has already been covered. The effort has already been proven. That is where you are. You have already carried what was heavy. You have already endured what was difficult. You have already proven your strength in ways that did not always have witnesses or recognition. And because of that, rest is no longer something you have to earn. It is something you are allowed to receive. Rest, in its truest form, is the absence of fear. It is waking up without immediately preparing for what might go wrong. It is moving through your day without the constant need to defend, protect, or anticipate. It is allowing yourself to breathe fully, to think clearly, to exist without the weight of past battles pressing against every moment. This kind of rest changes how you live. You begin to notice that you do not have to force everything anymore. You do not have to chase every opportunity or prove your worth in every space. There is a steadiness that replaces urgency, a quiet confidence that does not need to announce itself. You start to trust that what is meant for you will meet you without you exhausting yourself trying to secure it. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to feel safe within your own life again. That is what true rest offers. Not escape, not avoidance, but a grounded sense of security. A knowing that you are no longer in constant danger. A realization that you can release what you have been holding far past the finish line. Rest is not the end of your strength. It is what your strength has been leading you toward all along. With this new season comes a shift that is just as important as everything you have already been through. A shift in how you see yourself and how you move through your life. For a long time, you had to wear your armor. You had to stay guarded, alert, and ready. You learned to protect your energy, your heart, your space, because not everything around you felt safe. That version of you served a purpose. It helped you endure. It helped you survive. But you are no longer in the same place, and that armor is no longer required in the same way. You do not have to live as if something is always about to go wrong. You do not have to keep scanning for danger that no longer exists. You do not have to interpret every silence as a threat or every delay as a sign of loss. The constant state of alertness that once felt necessary is no longer your default. You are allowed to soften. And just as importantly, you no longer need to prove yourself, not your worth, not your strength, not your value. There was a time when you felt like you had to earn your place, to justify your presence, to show again and again that you were enough. But the truth is, you were never lacking. You were simply in a season that demanded more from you than it should have. Now, you are stepping into something different. A life where your worth is not measured by how much you endure, but by how fully you allow yourself to live. A life where you are not constantly reacting, but calmly choosing. A life where peace is not something you chase, it is something you carry. This shift may feel unfamiliar at first. There may be moments when your mind tries to pull you back into old patterns, into overthinking, over-preparing, over-protecting. But each time that happens, you have a new choice. You can remind yourself that you are no longer there. You can choose to respond from calm instead of fear, and slowly, this becomes your new normal. You begin to move with ease instead of tension. You begin to trust instead of anticipate. You begin to experience moments without constantly preparing for their end. Peace stops feeling temporary and starts feeling stable. This is what it means to live differently. Not because life will never challenge you again, but because you are no longer living under the weight of constant expectation. You are no longer defined by survival. You are learning how to live in peace, and that changes everything. So hear this clearly, and let it settle deep within you. You have already won. Not in a way that the world always recognizes, not with loud announcements or visible proof, but in the quiet, undeniable truth of your endurance. You are still here. You made it through what once felt impossible, and that alone is your evidence. Your victory is real, and because of that, you are allowed to rest. You are allowed to release the tension you have carried for so long. You are allowed to breathe without fear, to slow down without guilt, to exist without constantly preparing for what might go wrong. You are not falling behind. You are not losing anything by resting. You are stepping into what was always meant for you, peace. Even now, in this moment, you are being held in something steady, something safe, something greater than all that tried to shake you. You are not reaching for peace from a distance. You are already within it. So, let yourself receive that. If something in these words resonated with you, let it be acknowledged. You can quietly say, Amen, even if only in your heart. And if you know someone who is still carrying more than they should, someone who needs this reminder, consider sharing this with them. Because this truth is not just for you to hear, it is for you to live.